The chlorine stung my eyes like the lies I'd been choking down for years. But I dove in anyway, the water swallowing me whole as if it could wash away the ache in my chest. I was 17, treading water in our backyard pool under the relentless July sun of suburban Ohio, pretending every splash was a shout I couldn't voice. That afternoon, when Dad's shadow fell across the deck and he kicked off his flip-flops without a word, I knew the dam was about to break because men like him didn't swim unless they had something heavy to unload. I'd always been the quiet one in our family, the kid who fixed bikes in the garage while Mom baked pies that no one ate after Dad's long shifts at the mill. Asher Reynolds. That's me average height. Messy brown hair that never stayed combed. And eyes that Mom said held too much worry for a boy my age. We lived in Elmwood, a speck on the map where Friday nights meant high school football under floodlights. And Sundays were church potlucks where whispers about those city types slithered like smoke. Dad, Jack, was the rock, broad-shouldered, calloused hands from welding steel beams. A voice like gravel that commanded respect without trying. He coached my little league team back when I was 10, taught me to throw a curveball that could fool anyone. But lately, his glances lingered a mix of pride and something unspoken, like he sensed the fracture lines spiderwebbing through me. It started small, the way these things do. Freshman year, I caught myself staring at Tyler Grant in gym class. The way his laugh cut through the locker room echo. His easy grin when he stripped off his shirt after laps. Tyler was everything I wasn't, captain of the swim team. Blonde hair slicked back from the water. A body carved from endless practices that made my stomach twist in ways I couldn't name. I told myself it was admiration, the kind you have for heroes in comic books. But by sophomore year, when he slung an arm around my shoulders after a meat-damp skin against mine, chlorine-scented breath whispering, "Good hustle." Ash, I knew it was a lie. That night, alone in my room with the fan whirring like a guilty conscience, I typed "Am I gay?" into my phone and deleted it 100 times before letting the search load. The answers flooded in, clinical and cold. But they cracked me open. School became a minefield. Elmwood High was a pressure cooker of conformity, jocks in Letterman jackets prowling the halls, cheerleaders giggling in clusters, and the Bible study group passing out pamphlets that promised salvation from unnatural urges. I buried myself in books Hemingway's terse sentences about men lost at sea, feeling like echoes of my own drift. My best friend, Lena, was the only buoy. She was a whirlwind of purple-streaked hair and thrift store band tees. Daughter of the town librarian, with a laugh that could disarm a bomb. We'd sneak into the old community center after hours, sprawled on threadbare couches, trading secrets over stolen sodas. "You're not weird, Asher," she'd say, punching my arm when I deflected. "You're just you." And that's epic. But Tyler, he was the storm I couldn't outrun. Junior year, he started showing up at my locker, casual as breathing. "Hey, man, you catch that game?" His blue eyes would lock on mine, and I'd mumble something about stats, heart hammering like it wanted out. Rumors swirled, kids snickering about how close we were, how I'd linger after practice to watch him slice through the water like he owned the deep end. One afternoon, in the empty locker room, he cornered me by the benches, towel low on his hips, steam curling from the showers. "Ash, you ever think about us? Like, more than bros?" His voice was low, tentative, fingers brushing my wrist. Time froze. I wanted to say yes, to pull him close and let the world shatter. Instead, I laughed it off. "Nah, dude, you're too pretty for me," and bolted, the door slamming like a guillotine. That night, the guilt hit like a freight train. I paced my room, posters of classic cars peeling at the edges, the glow of my phone screen accusing me. What if Dad found out? Jack Reynolds, who quoted Reagan at dinner and shook his head at those parades in San Francisco, who'd once joked about stringing up any boy who hurt his son, but what if that boy was me hurting myself? Mom, gentle Ellen with her garden gloves and worry lines, would cry. I knew it. She'd hug me too tight, whisper prayers I didn't believe in anymore. By dawn, I was a ghost in my own skin, splashing into the pool at first light to drown the noise. Summer crept in like humidity, thick and unrelenting. Graduation loomed, a countdown to Freedom Maybe College in Columbus, where no one knew my name. Tyler and I danced around it, stolen glances at the diner, his knee bumping mine under the booth. Texts at midnight that said everything and nothing. Miss hanging out. He'd send, with a winking emoji that made my pulse race. Lena rolled her eyes when I confessed over ice cream. He's into you. Idiot. And you're into him. What's the holdup? The holdup was everything. The cross on our living room wall. Dad's truck roaring home each night. The fear that loving Tyler would unravel the only home I'd known. Then came the party. 4th of July. Elmwood's annual bash at the fairgrounds, fireworks popping like gunfire. Cotton candy sticking to fingers. The air electric with possibility. Tyler pulled me aside behind the Ferris wheel, the wheel's lights painting his face in reds and blues. Ash, I can't do this halfway, he said, voice rough, hand cupping my jaw. His lips met mine, soft and urgent, tasting of root beer and risk. The world tilted, sparks bursting overhead, my heart exploding in sync. For 10 seconds. It was perfect, his fingers in my hair, breath mingling, the lie I'd lived dissolving in that kiss. But Elmwood doesn't forgive. By Monday, whispers had metastasized. Jake Harlan, Tyler's teammate with a grudge and a beer gut, cornered me in the parking lot after practice. Freak, he snarled, shoving me against my bike, fist connecting with my ribs like a sledgehammer. Tyler's straight. You perv stay away, or I'll make sure everyone knows what a sicko you are. I crumpled, tasting blood, the pavement grinding into my palms. Tyler found me there, eyes wild, hauling Jake off with a roar that echoed across the lot. Back off. Man, it's not your business. But the damage was done. Eyes on us in the halls. Parents murmuring at pickup. Dad's truck idling longer than usual when he fetched me. That evening, dinner was a minefield. Mom's meatloaf sat congealing, forks scraping like accusations. Dad cleared his throat, gaze fixed on his plate. Heard about some fight at school. Son, you okay? His voice was even, but the undercurrent pulled hard. I nodded, throat tight, pushing peas around like they held answers. Yeah, just dumb stuff. He grunted, but his eyes, those steel blue eyes that had cheered me through every strikeout, held questions he wouldn't voice. Bed that night was a battlefield, replaying Jake's words, Tyler's kiss, the fear that one wrong word would topple it all. Weeks blurred into a haze of avoidance. Tyler texted apologies, pleased to talk, but I ghosted him, burying the hurt under laps in the pool until my muscles screamed. Lena dragged me to the library, force-feeding me queer lit Audre Lorde essays that burned like truth. Novels where boys like me found their way. You're not alone, Ash, she said, squeezing my hand. But you gotta let someone in. She meant her, or Tyler, but my mind snagged on Dad. The man who'd built me a treehouse at 8, taught me to bait a hook without flinching. Could he build a bridge over this chasm? The heat peaked that August afternoon, the kind that makes asphalt shimmer and tempers fray. I'd slipped into the pool early, the water a cool mercy against sun-baked skin. Laps turned to floating, staring at clouds that looked like escape routes. Then the screen door creaked. Dad, in his old trunks, the ones from my childhood vacations to Lake Erie. He didn't splash in like I remembered. He eased down the steps, water lapping at his knees, then waist. Our eyes met across the blue divide, and he swam closer. Deliberate strokes cutting the surface. Mind if I join you, kid? His tone was light, but his shoulders carried the weight of unspoken summers. We treaded water in silence at first, the only sound bubbles popping like tiny confessions. He was close enough I could see the lines etched by years of overtime. The faint scar on his collarbone from a mill accident he'd never detailed. Asher, he started, voice low as if the neighbors might overhear. I've been a lousy dad lately. Watching you pull away. It guts me. I swallowed hard. The water's suddenly too shallow to hide in. It's not you, Dad. It's the words lodged. A hook in my throat. He nodded, like he'd rehearsed this. I know, son. About Tyler. About who you are. The world narrowed to that ripple between us. How? The fight. The rumors had they clawed their way to him. Panic surged. Hot and sharp. Dad. He held up a hand. Weathered palm cutting the air. Under the water. Ash. Say it there. No one's listening but us. Heart pounding. I took a breath. Dove down into the muffled blue. He followed. Our faces inches apart in the sway of chlorine ghosts. Bubbles escaped his lips first, forming words I read like subtitles in a dream. I love you. Always have. No matter what. Tears mixed with the pool. Salt in the sting. As we surfaced gasping, he pulled me into a hug. Water sheeting off us. His arms the anchor I'd feared lost. You're my boy? He murmured, voice cracking like thunder after rain. Gay? Straight doesn't change that. Just be safe. Be you. The dam broke then. Sobs racking me as years of silence poured out. Mom watched from the kitchen window, tears streaking her apron, but she smiled, relief blooming like her roses after frost. Word spread, but not like venom this time. Tyler showed up that night, tentative on our porch. Dad clapping his shoulder with a gruff, treat him right, or you'll answer to me. We talked for hours under the stars. Lena crashing the scene with pizza and bad jokes, weaving us back together. Elmwood didn't transform overnight, no pride flags on Main Street. No sermons rewritten but cracks let light in. Jake slunk away, shamed by his own pettiness. The team rallied around Tyler. Awkward at first, then solid. College came. Asher Reynolds unbound, studying lit at Ohio State. Tyler visiting weekends with that grin that still unraveled me. Dad drove me up. Truck packed with dorm junk. His hand on my shoulder at drop-off. Proud of you, kid. Make waves. We did protests on campus. Late-night debates that stretched into dawn. Love that grew roots instead of thorns. Years later, at our wedding in that same backyard poolside, Dad stood teary-eyed, toasting to family, the kind that chooses you back. Looking back, that dive wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Under the water, we found air. The autumn after that summer etched itself into me like a tattoo. Invisible but permanent. Leaves turned Elmwood into a postcard of rust and gold. But inside, I was still navigating the aftershocks. Tyler and I were official no-hand holding in the diner booths. Stolen kisses behind the bleachers, but every glance from strangers felt like a spotlight. Dad's acceptance was a lighthouse. Steady and warm. But it didn't erase the town's undercurrent. The way Pastor Hale's sermons sharpened on Sodom's sins come Sundays. Mom baked extra pies. Her way of mending. Slipping notes inside, you're brave. My love. Like David facing giants. Lena dubbed it Operation Asher Unchained. Plotting escapades to reclaim the street's midnight swims. Graffiti art on abandoned barns that read Love Wins in looping script. Tyler threw himself into it too. His easy charm a shield. Swim practice became our ritual, him gliding like a shark, me cheering from the bleachers, our eyes locking mid-stroke as if the water whispered secrets only we heard. "You're my lucky charm," he'd say post-meet, toweling off with that boyish smile, pulling me into the empty natatorium for slow dances to phantom music. But doubts lingered, shadows in the steam. What if college pulled us apart? Ohio State for me. His scholarship to Michigan, hundreds of miles of doubt. "We'll make it," he'd promise, fingers tracing my collarbone. "Pools are everywhere. We'll dive in together." Dad noticed the tension, the way I'd zone out at dinner, fork midway to mouth. One crisp October evening, he cornered me in the garage, oil-stained rag in hand as he tinkered with the truck's carburetor. "Spit it out. Ash, you're chewing gravel again." I leaned against the workbench, tools clinking like nerves. "It's Tyler. And me. Long distance. What if it breaks us?" He wiped his hands, slow and deliberate, then met my gaze. Those eyes, mirrors of my own uncertainty. "Son, love's not a straight line. It's a damn maze. But your mom and I, we drove through blizzards, fought like cats still here. You fight for it. That's the trick." His words stuck. A compass in fog. We planned weekend trains, video calls at dawn, summers back in Elmwood to rebuild. But life, that sly fox, had other plots. November brought Jake Harlan's reckoning. He'd been stewing, jealousy festering into something uglier, texts to Tyler laced with slurs, anonymous notes in my locker scrawled, "Fags don't belong." It escalated at the homecoming game, halftime. Under the stands, he ambushed us, breath reeking of cheap whiskey, two buddies flanking like hyenas. "Thought you could prance around like it's okay," he slurred, swinging wild. Tyler shoved me back, taking the punch, square lips splitting, blood arcing bright against the grass. Chaos erupted, whistles shrilling, security hauling them off, the crowd a blur of gasps and phones. Dad arrived in a fury, trucks screeching into the lot, Mom trailing with ice packs and prayers. Tyler's parents solid folks. Coach's wife with a bake sale, smile rushed in too. But their eyes darted, discomfort veiled as concern. "Boys being boys. Mister," Grant muttered. But Tyler spat blood and said, "No, Dad, this is hate. And I'm done hiding." The words hung, a gauntlet thrown. In the ER, stitches closing the cut above his eye. He gripped my hand under the thin blanket. "Worth it," he whispered. "For us." The fallout was biblical. School suspended Jake. Whispers turning to outraged parents petitioning. The principal calling an assembly on tolerance. Lena orchestrated a rally. Kids in rainbow pins chanting outside the office, her megaphone voice cracking with fire. Dad testified at the hearing, voice steady as steel, "My son's gay." Proudly. And no boy's gonna lay a hand on him without answering to this town. It broke something in me, tears hot on my cheeks as he spoke, the room shifting like tectonic plates. Even Pastor Hale softened, pulling Dad aside post-service. "Jack, maybe it's time we listen more than preach." Winter wrapped Elmwood in frost, but warmth bloomed inside. Tyler healed, scar fading to a thin white line. He called our battle mark. We celebrated Christmas poolside, heated now, strings of lights twinkling like stars on water. Dad manned the grill in a Santa hat, Mom's carols piping from the kitchen, Lena crashing with eggnog and stories. Tyler and I slipped away mid-toast, diving under the surface for a kiss that tasted of pine and promise, bubbles rising like laughter. New Year's brought resolutions, mine, to write it all down. Letters to future me about the boy who'd learned to swim in storms. Tyler's, to come out fully, to his team, his family, the world. We drove to Michigan for his orientation. the highway unspooling like fate. His coach clapped him on the back. Swim true. Grant. Rest is noise. Back in Elmwood, Dad and I rebuilt the deck. Hammers echoing our quiet talks about his own youth. A crush on a farm boy he'd buried under duty. The regret that shaped his steel. I almost lost you to my silence. He admitted. Nails biting wood. Won't happen again. Spring thawed the ground. And with it, my fears. Prom night. Tyler in a rented tux that hugged his frame. Me in slacks that felt like armor. We danced under paper stars. Lena twirling with a girl from art class. The gym alive with possibility. No ambushes. Just glances of envy and awe. Afterward, on the hood of his truck, stars wheeling overhead, he slipped a ring on my finger, simple silver. Engraved, dive deep. Not forever yet, he said, voice thick, but close. Graduation dawned bright. Caps sailing like confetti prayers. Dad's speech as class sponsor choked me. To the class of 26, chase what scares you. It's where the good stuff lives. Tyler and I crossed the stage hand in hand. Diplomas warm as vows. That night, backyard bonfire crackled. Faces glowing, family. Friends. The mosaic weed pieced from shards. Summers in loomed. Suitcases packed for Columbus. The pool shimmered one last time. Dad and I treading water as dusk fell. You ready, kid? He asked. Echoes of that July day rippling. I nodded. Throat tight. Yeah. Thanks to you. He grinned. Water beating his lashes. Nah. You swam it yourself. College hit like a rogue wave. Exhilarating and disorienting. Ohio State's campus sprawled like a small city, red brick dorms buzzing with accents from coasts I'd only read about. Lecture halls echoing with debates that made Elmwood feel like a dream. My roommate, Kai, was a theater major from LA. All eyeliner and empathy. Who clocked me on day one, honey. That glow. Boyfriend back home. We bonded over late-night ramen. Him coaching me through syllabus panic. Me sharing playlists of indie folk that matched his monologues. Tyler's Michigan was a 3-hour drive. But weekends blurred the miles, him sneaking into my dorm with duffels of contraband snacks. Us tangled in twin beds that creaked like confessions. Classes fed my soul. American Lit with a prof who dissected Whitman like Holy Writ. Song of myself, pulsing with the queer undercurrents I'd craved. I wrote papers on hidden loves in Fitzgerald. Essays that poured out like therapy. But homesickness gnawed calls home, where mom's voice wavered over recipes. Dad's grunts hiding how empty the garage felt. Miss your ugly mug, he'd say. Then pause. Proud. Though. Real proud. Tyler's absences stretched longer with meets. His text a lifeline, miss your laugh. One gold today, wished you were screaming from the stands. We'd meet midway in Toledo. Motels with neon signs. Bodies rediscovering each other in the dim, slow explorations that mapped new territories. Whispers of forever amid the hum of AC units. Lena thrived at community college nearby, commuting with tales of radical zines and coffee shop crushes. She crashed my dorm fortnightly, dragging Kai and me to campus queer alliance meeting circles of shared scars. Laughter cutting the heavy air. There, I met Riley, a non-binary artist with buzzed hair and tattoos of phoenixes rising from ink oceans. We clicked over sketches, their vulnerability mirroring mine. Coming out's not a finish line, it's a marathon with blisters. They became the friend I didn't know I needed. Platonic anchor in the storm of self-discovery. Fall break pulled me home. Elmwood unchanged, yet alien harvest moons fat over cornfields. The pool leaf-strewn and lonely. Dad enveloped me in a bear hug at the door. Mom's apple pie steaming on the counter. Look at you, college boy, Dad teased, ruffling my hair like I was 10. Dinner unfolded easy, stories of syllabi and swims. His mill tales laced with quiet updates on Jake expelled. Now working pumps at the gas station. Head down. Kids learning. Dad said. Takes time. Tyler arrived Saturday. His car crunching gravel. Arms laden with cider from a roadside stand. We hiked the old rail trail. Leaves crunching under boots. Hands swinging loose. At the trestle bridge. Rusted iron spanning a creek gone gold with autumn. He stopped, pulling a thermos of spiked hot chocolate. Ash. The Susit's real. But Michigan's kicking my ass. Coach rides me hard. And I miss you like a limb. Vulnerability cracked his voice. The golden boy fraying at edges. I cupped his face. Thumbs tracing jawline. Then let's fight harder. Visits. Calls. All of it. We're not breaking. That night. Bonfire in the pit Dad dug years back. Sparks dancing like fireflies. Lena showed with her new girl. Mia shy smiles and shared scarves, and we roasted marshmallows till they charred black. Dad joined late. Guitar in hand. Strumming Dylan tunes that had Mom swaying. Tyler leaned into me. Head on shoulder. And for a breath. It was perfect family reknit. Loves intertwined. But as embers died. Dad pulled me aside. Voice low by the garage. Tyler's solid. But if he hurts you. He trailed. Eyes fierce. No. I trust him. Like you taught me to dive in. Thanksgiving shattered the idol. Tyler's family gathering turned tense his aunt's offhand. When are you settling with a nice girl? Slicing like glass. He stormed out. Calling me from the porch swing. Ash. It's suffocating. They act fine. But it's conditional. I drove through sleet that night. 3 hours of white-knuckled wipers. Arriving to his dorm, where he paced like a caged wolf. We crashed together. Fury melting to need bodies urgent. Reclaiming space in the narrow bed. Dawn brought clarity. I need to tell them outright. No more half-truths. I held him as resolve hardened. Then do it. I'll be your echo. Winter quarter ramped UP exams like gauntlets. Group projects forging unlikely bonds. Kai and I staged a queer theater night. Me reading my coming out piece to a room of nodding faces. Applause washing over like absolution. Riley illustrated it for the campus scene. Their lines capturing the pool's blue truth. Back home for holidays. The house smelled of pine and cloves. Tree twinkling in the bay window. Dad's gift to me, a leather journal. Pages crisp as new starts. Write your story. Son. The real one. Inside. His scrawl, under the water. Always. Tyler's confrontation came New Year's Eve. Family dinner in their colonial on the edge of town. I waited in the car. Snow feathering the windshield. Heart sinking with his texts. Here goes. 20 minutes later. He emerged, shoulders slumped, but eyes clear, climbing in with an exhale that fogged the glass. Told them. Mom cried. Dad. Processed. Said he loves me. But needs time. We drove to the lake. Frozen expanse under moon. Skating clumsy circles till we fell laughing into drifts. Free. He gasped. Kissing snowflakes from my lashes. Finally. Spring semester bloomed with momentum. Tyler's team qualified for nationals. Me road tripping to cheer banners waving. Screams echoing off arena walls as he touched the wall first. Gold around his neck. We celebrated in a dive bar. Beers foaming over. His metal cool against my chest in the motel after. Lena and Mia visited. Quadrupling for a weekend of board games and brunches. Her stories of queer-lit classes igniting mine. You're glowing. Ash. She said. Like you found your current. But ripples from home tugged. Dad's cough started, subtle dry hacks over breakfast brushed off as allergies. Mom's worry lines deepened. Her garden's overgrown. I called more. Probing gently. But he deflected, fit as a fiddle. Kid, focus on you. Riley noticed my distraction, pulling me for coffee, family stuff. Talk it out, art therapy works wonders. We sketched together. My lines jagged with fear. There's smoothing into waves. Summer return confirmed it. Doctor's visit. The word lungs dropping like stones. Early stage. Treatable chemo looming. But Dad's grin defiant as he packed his tackle box. Fishing after. Doc's orders fresh air. Tyler and I rallied. Weekends at the cabin, him grilling trout. Me reading aloud from my journal. Dad's laughter booming over the lake. You too solid as oak. He'd say. Eyes misty. Mom leaned on us. Her faith a quiet flame. Baking through the fog. One humid July eve. Pool lit by fireflies. We floated Dad. Tyler. Made a triangle of trust. Cancer's a bastard. Dad murmured. Voice raw from treatment. But look at the Izumi boys. Holding the line. Tyler squeezed his shoulder. Family. Mr. R. Through it. I dove under. Surfacing with a splash that drew laughs. The water carrying our unspoken vows. The chemo cycles carved grooves into our rhythm. Dad's frame thinning like pencil lead under eraser. But his spirit held quips sharper than scalpels. Fishing rods wielded like scepters. Elmwood rallied subtle, mill buddies dropping casseroles. Pastor Hale visiting with books on miracles. Not judgments. Tyler balanced nationals training with drives home. His presence a steady pulse, hands gentle on Dad's back during nausea waves. Jokes landing soft as pillows. You're tougher than any opponent. Jack. He'd say, earning that gravel chuckle. I deferred a summer internship. Holing up in the garage turned sick room. Reading aloud from Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. Dad nodding along. That's Santiago. Me. Sees the chemo I'll outlast it. Mom and I tag team meals. Her pies now fortified with protein shakes. My playlists of folk anthems warding off silence. Lena and Mia brought levity craft nights with yarn and yarn-spinning tales. Mia's sketches of superheroes battling beasts mirroring our fight. Riley mailed care packages, zines with affirmations. You're the hero of your story. August brought a scare fever spiking. Hospital lights harsh as interrogations. Tyler and I alternated vigils. His hand in mine during the endless beeps. If he... Tyler whispered once. Voice fracturing. I pulled him close. He won't. We're his anchors. Dawn broke with good news, infection tamed. Counts climbing. Dad woke grinning. For dripping like victory confetti. Told you fiddles don't break easy. Discharge felt like parole. Home smelled of bleach and hope. The pool calling like a siren. We eased him in one balmy afternoon. Water buoyant against frailty. Tyler supported from one side. Me the other. Dad sighed deep as the deep end. This right here. He rasped. Eyes on horizon. Worth every needle. Bubbles rose as he spoke underwater codes we'd revived. Grateful. Love you both. Tears blurred the ripples. Tyler's grip tightening. Our circle unbreakable. Fall semester loomed. Guilt gnawing as I packed. Go? Ash. Dad insisted. Suitcase and lap. Live big, that's my medicine. Tyler drove me back. Our silence heavy with unsaid farewells. Campus felt alien, now lectures droning. Parties hollow. Kai sensed it. Brewing tea and listening. Grief's a tide ebbs. But pulls hard. Riley organized a fundraiser art auction for cancer research. Me pool story narrated in oils. Proceeds a drop in the ocean, but ours. Tyler's season peaked at Big Ten championships. Me flying in on fumes and finals. Arena thrummed. His diva arrow to gold medal gleaming as he scanned stands. Our eyes locking in triumph. Backstage. Sweat slick hug. For Jack. He murmured. For us. Holiday break rushed us home. Dad's stronger hair stubs pushing through. Color returning like spring. Christmas Eve. Tree aglow. He gifted matching watches. Time's our ally now. Tick strong. But January whispered warning scans showing shadows. Monitor closely. We armored up. More chemo. Alternative trials. Dad researched late nights. Tyler's spring break canceled for a relay in California. I joined. Sun-soaked beaches, a brief reprieve, waves crashing as we walked. Toes in surf. Marry me someday? He asked. Casual as shells. I laughed. Heart full. When the time's right, underwater proposal. He grinned. Deal? Lena's wedding to Mia that June anchored us, backyard affair in Elmwood. Wildflowers and vows exchanged poolside. Dad walked Lena down the aisle. Arm steady. Tears carving tracks. Love's the real miracle. He toasted. Glass raised. Tyler and I danced under lanterns. His whisper hot. Our turn soon. Summer's heat tested resolve, Dad's energy ebbing. Days blending in recliner naps and chemo drips. We adapted, movie marathons of Rocky sequels. His cheers fist-pumping, weak but fierce. One twilight. As crickets chorused, he called Tyler and me to the deck. Boys. He started. Voice threadbare. If I don't beat this. Know you're my legacy. Stronger together. Denial surged. But Tyler nodded. You will. Jack. But yeah, we got this. Riley visited. Portfolio bursting exhibit in Columbus featuring our stories. Queer resilience in canvas strokes. Your dad's muse. They said. Sketching him by the pool. Lines capturing quiet valor. Lena coordinated town support. Benefit concert at the fairgrounds. Bands donating proceeds. Elmwood's heart showing in harmonies. August edge toward my junior year. Dad's latest scan, a mixed mercy stable. But watchful. Packing again. His hug lingered. Dive deep. Son. I'll be here. Surface waiting. Tyler lingered too. Our goodbye kiss, salt tanged by unshed tears. Campus revved with new faces. But I poured into advocacy panel on rural queer youth. My voice steady. Coming out's a dive terrifying. But the water holds. Thanksgiving brought feast and fragility, Dad thinner. But appetite flickering. Post-dinner. Pool heated against chill. We floated quartet, Mom. Dad. Tyler. Me. His hand found mine under, proud. Bubbles carried it up. Our circle rippling with light. Winter gripped tight. Holidays hushed by a blizzard that trapped us home. Dad rallied for carols. Voice harmonizing, Mom's soprano. Tyler's baritone weaving in. New Year's. Fireworks muffled by snow. We toasted indoor, champagne flutes clinking like bells. To depths. Tyler said. Eyes on me. Dad nodded. And surfacing stronger. Spring unfurled, tentative cherry blossoms dusting Elmwood. Dad's strength waxing with warmer days. Tyler's nationals loomed. Me planning the drive. But mid-April. The call came, shadow grown. Aggressive now. Hospital again. Decisions blurring, more aggressive treatment. Risks stacking like dominoes. Tyler skipped a meet to be there. Our hands linked in the sterile wait. Fight. I whispered to Dad's sleeping form. He stirred. Eyes cracking open. Always. Kid. The diagnosis upgrade hit like a depth charge. Shockwaves rippling through our fragile peace. Stage 4. The oncologist said. Words clinical as scalpels metastasized to bones. Options narrowing to palliative bridges. Dad took it stoic. Jaw set like mill steel. But Mom crumbled in the hall. Her sobs echoing off linoleum. Tyler and I ferried her home. His arm around her shoulders. He's a fighter. Ellen. We'll fight with him. Me. I numbed out. Driving aimless loops around Elmwood till dawn. Radio static, my confessor. Home morphed into hospice, Haven Hospital bed in the living room. overlooking the pool like a portal to better days. Nurses came gentle. Schedules pinned to fridge, meds at dawn. Walks if strength allowed. I dropped classes. Junior year a casualty. Holding up with textbooks half-read. Essays abandoned. Tyler shuttled from Michigan. Coach granting leave, family first. Grant. His presence grounded cooking stews from mom's recipes. Massaging dad's feet till circulation hummed. Lena rallied the troops. Meal trains snaking the driveway. Mia's yoga sessions easing mom's knots. Riley arrived with canvases, turning the garage into studio portraits of dad in his prime. Fishing rod aloft, now layered with current grace. Lines of pain transmuted to poetry. Art steals from sorrow. They said, brush dipping. Dad watched, critiquing softly. Make me look tougher, none of that saint crap. Conversations deepened. Unguarded now. Evenings by the bed. Dad recounting youth unfiltered, that farm boy. Eli. Summer of 78. Stolen glances over hay bales. A kiss under thunderheads that ended in goodbye when Eli's family moved west. Buried it deep. He admitted. Voice wispy. For your mom. The mill. The life. But seeing you. Ash-free with Tyler, it mended something. Tears tracked his temples. I wiped them. Throat burning. You mended me first. Tyler shared 2 pressures of the closet in high school. The relief of nationals where teammates toasted his boyfriend with beers. No side-eye. You gave me courage. Jack, that pool talk. Dad's hand trembled in his. Mutual. Son. Mutual. May bloomed defiant. Lilacs scenting the air. Dad's pain managed to flickers. Enough for a wheelchair jaunt to the pool. We lowered him in. Buoyant embrace. Tyler and I flanking like sentinels. Underwater. His message bubbled faint, no regrets. We surfaced to his smile. Frail but full. Mom joined. Her toes dipping tentative. Laughter bubbling as we splashed gentle waves. Fundraisers swelled. Lena's concert drew crowds. Fiddles wailing anthems of endurance. Proceeds funding home care. Kai visited. Staging improv skits that had Dad chuckling till oxygen wheezed. You're a ham. Kid. Dad rasped. Kai bowed. Learned from the best. Mid-month. A lucid window. Dad called family meeting. Us circled on carpet worn from years. When I'm gone. He started, voice steady. Ours fracturing, don't grieve long. Live loud. Ash. Tyler marries soon. Make it legal. Make it yours. Tyler nodded. Ringed hand in mine. We will. Jack. Promise. Mom clutched his fingers. Jack. You're not, he shushed gentle. We all go sometime. Love. I'll wait on the other side, fishing pole ready. Decline accelerated. June's heat mirroring fever. Days blurred, morphine mists. Hands held through nights. Stories looping like lifelines. One dawn. As birds chorused. He rallied, eyes clear. Beckoning Tyler and me to the pool alone. Wheelchair to edge. We lifted him in. Water lapping soft. Treading slow. His gaze distant yet anchored. Boys. He whispered above. Then Dove's shallow gesture, more than motion, surfacing with effort. Underwater. Labored bubbles. Love changes everything. Thank you. That afternoon. He slipped away peaceful. Mom's him on lips. Our hands woven. The house hollowed. Echo of absence. Funeral packed, the church mill workers in flannel. Teammates in jackets. Pastor Hale's eulogy weaving grace over gospel. Dad's ashes scattered lakewood. Boat rocking gentle. Tyler's arm my keel. Grief's tide pulled savage at first nights, pacing the empty garage. Pool staring blank. Tyler stayed through summer's dregs. His leave extended. Us rebuilding brick by brick. He'd hate us moping. He'd say, pulling me to swim slaps fierce. Then floats where tears dissolved. Lena hosted memorials, bonfires with tales. Mia's poems etching his light. Fall semester crept back. Campus a blur of condolences and classes. I channeled a thesis on queer fatherhood in Lit. Dad's story woven anonymous, but true. Tyler's senior year peaked with Olympics trials. Me in stance. Screaming as he qualified bronze in relay. Medal heavy as legacy. For Jack. He said on podium. Camera catching our kiss broadcast nationwide. Winter healed, incremental mom's gardens revived. Her smile tentative, but true. We planned Tyler's graduation. Then law school for me. His coaching gig. New Year's poolside. Heated glow. We dove tandem underwater vow. Together. Always. Surfacing. Rings exchanged simple silver bands engraved dive deep. Spring brought renewal. Mom dating a widower from church. Gentle steps. Lena's book club on queer memoirs. Me guest speaking. Riley's exhibit toured. Dad's portrait centerpiece under the water. Title evoking depths transcended. Anniversary of that July day. We returned to Elmwood Pool. Mom joining. Water warm with memory. He'd beam. She said. Bubbles rising. Tyler pulled me close. He does from wherever. Years folded like pages. Each chapter building on the last Tyler's coaching at Michigan State. My law degree morphing into advocacy. Cases for queer rights in rural pockets like Elmwood Shadow. We bought a fixer-upper in Ann Arbor. Backyard pool installed first blue tile echoing origins. Dives our ritual. Mom visited often. Her new life blooming with herbs' quiet steadiness. Gardens shared over coffee. Your daughter to prove. She'd say. Eyes distant on water. Lena and Mia adopted. Tiny feet splashing summers. Our godkids turning pools into playgrounds. Riley's art career soared galleries in New York. But roots in Columbus scenes. Kai treaded Broadway boards. Calling post-opening. Channeling your grit. Ash break a leg. Nah. We dive. But echoes lingered anniversaries of Dad's passing. Grief surfacing unbidden. Tears salting swims. Tyler held space. He swims with us now. We mentored youth groups in Detroit. Stories shared circle side. Coming out's a dive terrifying. Freeing. Family. The water that holds you. 2010 brought the call. Elmwood High inviting me for assembly on inclusion. Post a string of incidents echoing Jake's ghost. I stood stage. Mic heavy. Tyler in wings. 17. Poolside. My dad dove in Zayd underwater what words couldn't. Love unconditional. Kids leaned in. Eyes wide jocks. Artists. The quiet ones like past me. Questions flowed post-talk. Was it scary? Does it get better? I nodded, scary as hell. But yes, infinitely. After. Principal handed a plaque, Asher Reynolds. Trailblazer. Tyler grinned, fancy. Drive home. Windows down. We detoured lakeward skipping stones. Vows renewed in ripples. Marriage equalities tied Roso Bergefell 15. News breaking midlap. We cheered poolside. Phones buzzing Lena's shrieks. Ceremony that fall, Elmwood backyard. Pool strung lights. Mom walking me. Her beaming. Tyler vows earnest. From that first kiss to forever dive with me. Rings exchanged. Underwater later guests gasping laughs as we bubbled I do. Honeymoon in Key West conch shells and sunsets. Snorkels revealing coral worlds. Back. Life layered. Tyler's team nationals bound. My firm expanding pro bono. Mom's 60th. Surprise party poolside tables groaning pies. Herbs toast. To Jack from afar. But here. Challenges crested 2 Tyler's knee injuries sidelining seasons. My caseload bruising with losses. Bigoted judges stonewalling. Nights. We'd float. Debriefing. Water wears rock. He'd say. Therapy helped couples sessions unpacking Dad's legacy. How has grace armored us? 2020's pandemic locked worlds. But our pool became sanctuary virtual classes from deck chairs. Tyler coaching Zoom drills. Mom quarantined with us. Herb virtual. Losses mounted friends to virus. Echoes of chemo waits. We grieved communal, bonfires with neighbors. Stories bridging screens. Kai's off-Broadway run adapted our tale under the water. Musical of dives and depths. Premiere night. Tears through applause. Riley's posters lining lobby. Post-show. Cast party. Your lives inspired this. Mid-decade. Tyler's proposal Redux Olympic rings from his youth. Presented pool bottom. Me diving for it, gasping joy. Vows renewed. Friends toasting. To depths conquered. Elmwood called again mayoral bid. Inclusive platform. Iran. Tyler campaigning. Town halls packed. Dad's photo on flyers. Victory night. Pool party erupted fireworks over water. Mom dancing with me as kids. Parenthood whispered late adoption paths winding. But 2028 brought Leo. 4-year-old spark with hazel eyes like mine. Pool lessons first. Arm floats. Giggles bubbling. Tyler taught backstroke, like your dad's strong swim. Mom's passing 32 peaceful. Garden surrounded. We scattered her with Dad. Lake merging loves. Grief soft now. Woven into joy Leo's first dive. Fearless splash. Tyler's retirement bash, 35 Nationals gold legacy. Speeches lauding. Taught more than strokes. Heart. Me. Graying at temples. Toasting. My anchor. Our 20th. Pool aglow. Leo asleep inside. We treaded slow. Underwater. Still here. Still us. Surfacing. Stars wheeled legacy rippling outward. Decades deep in grooves. Time's chisel kind, yet inexorable Leo's teens mirroring mine. Questions bubbling over breakfasts. Dad Asher. Were you scared coming out? He'd ask. For pausing mid-bite. I'd share measured, terrified. But your grandpa Jack. He dove in. Showed me love's deeper. Tyler added grins. And I was the pretty one who made it worth it. Elmwood evolved under our Watch Pride festivals on Main. Rainbow crosswalks fading under tires, but repainted yearly. My mayoral terms pushed ordinances, safe spaces in schools. Anti-hate task forces. Jake Harlan. Grizzled now. Approached one parade. Ash. Sorry long overdue. Handshake firm. Absolution quiet. Lena's empire grew publishing house for queer voices. Mia's illustrations covers. Visits meant chaos, grandkids cannonballing. Stories layered generations. Riley's retrospective toured DC Depths series. Dad's portrait centerpiece. Plaque for Jack Reynolds' unsung pioneer. Kai's Tony nod 40 under the water Broadway bound. Us front row. Tears sinking with ovations. Post curtain. He hugged fierce, your blueprint. Tyler's coaching legacy bloomed Hall of Fame induction. Me emceeing. He didn't just win medals, won hearts. Leo. College-bound swimmer. Cheered loudest. Health's tide turned 45 Tyler's heart murmur. My arthritis stiffening joints. Checkups routine. But pools adapted, heated therapy laps. Floats our float. Still diving. He'd tease. Hand in mine. Deeper every year. Leo's coming out 47 gentle. Over pie like moms. Gay? Dads. Like you. Hugs enveloped. Tyler's voice thick, proud. Kid. Who's the lucky one? Laughter eased. Our stories his map. Moments marked milestones. Silver anniversary vow renewal. Poolside with Leo officiating. Friends toasting tides. Herb's remarriage to a cousin. Us dancing awkward waltzes. 50s brought reflection memoir penned. Dives and depths. Bestseller in niche circles. Book tour hit Elmwood launch, packed hall. Pool after party rippling memories. Jake spoke, your dad's words changed me. Tyler's sabbatical, 52 we road tripped Route 66. Pools on route pit stops. Motels neon lit. Stories retold. Remember that first kiss. Laughter echoed canyons. Grandkids arrived, 55 Leo's twins. Hazel-eyed whirlwinds. Pool parties pandemonium. Tyler's laps legend to them. Grandpa Ty. Teach us. Gentle strokes. Bubbles of love you. Health faltered, 58 Tyler's bypass. My hip replacement. Recovery tandem. Parallel recliners. Remotes battling channels. Stubborn as ever. He'd grumble. Love lacing.